Grand Canyon is more than just a view, more than just a two-dimensional landscape. There are so many lessons and ways to explore Grand Canyon. It is a laboratory. It is a virtual classroom. The diversity here is unparalleled. There's a huge landscape that is just begging to be explored, and it really just takes a moment to stop in a side canyon or sit under the trees and really get to know all the things that this landscape has to offer. It really does start to put things in perspective, I think, for a lot of people. You suddenly feel quite small, and your problems seem quite small as you're standing here on the edge of the canyon, because there's just so much to try to take in. In Grand Canyon, you'll find a whole host of environments, everything from cool fir forests to hot, dry deserts, riparian zones, and over 1 million acres of wild landscape that have been the stage for human exploration and inspiration for generations. Most of Grand Canyon's visitors first arrive on the South Rim. Very few of those folks actually find their way over to the North Rim, and even fewer descend into the canyon itself. Statistics tell us that only about 5% of our visitors actually will drop down below the rim. These folks arrive at the canyon and they find their way to the first viewpoint. They look down into this two-dimensional landscape and feel that they have experienced Grand Canyon. But what they're missing out on is the opportunity to really explore the inner canyon and experience the diversity that this place has to offer. This park has a broad elevational change. So as you descend into the canyon, for every 1,000 feet, you actually gain 3 to 5 degrees Fahrenheit. So at the river's edge, the temperature can be 15 to 25 degrees warmer than on the South Rim. You leave behind the forests, which are more typical of the rim environments, and you enter into a landscape filled with blackbrush and cacti, plants that are more typical of and adapted to a desert environment. Traveling further into the inner canyon, you arrive at the Colorado River, and along its edge, you will find a very critical riparian habitat that extends the length of the river itself. We have seeps and springs nestled in side canyons that have a variety of species that are dependent on them. The diversity in the springs alone is unparalleled to any other location in the park. Almost 94% of the park is proposed wilderness. As such, it is managed and protected as though it is wilderness. In Grand Canyon's wilderness, you won't find cars. It's a roadless area where natural quiet is protected. There are places where you can descend below the canyon, where the air is still, where you have only yourself and the rocks around you and the plants, and suddenly your senses become tuned to the lizards scurrying in the rocks, or the sounds of the canyon wren, or the dripping of the springs. Those are the experiences that are wild. evidence of human life in Grand Canyon extends back thousands of years. Some of our first explorers arrived on the rim, peered down into the canyon as so many people do today, but they saw it as an impassable chasm. They saw it as lifeless, undesirable, a place that no one would ever visit intentionally. These expeditions opened up the opportunity for artists and photographers to capture the imagery of Grand Canyon and share it with the nation and ultimately the world, which really helped to bring about our appreciation for the scenic value of this landscape. Most importantly, what the Grand Canyon has to teach all of us is to slow down, to take it all in, to get to know what is beyond the reaches of the road and look deep within the canyon itself and find that sense of discovery in yourself and that sense of wildness in this place. It's the canyon itself that brings together the human history and the science. It's not just a canyon, it's the grandest canyon. There are deeper, there are wider, there are longer canyons, but none of them are the Grand Canyon.
When people think Grand Canyon, lush and oasis aren't words that would jump out. But the springs and the creeks that they feed do provide these splashes of green on a matte brown canvas. When you're at a spring, all your senses are awake. You smell different, you feel different. The touch of the cold water against the hot desert sun, you're alive. They're innocent in that they're not taking anything away, just providing this environment for life to strive in. They're givers of life. That's a beautiful energy. Every spring I've gone to, small or big, provides happiness in a way. My job in the park is to monitor the springs and seeps, so studying the groundwater system. Since springs tell me how the groundwater system is working. Where's the water coming from? How fast is it flowing or how slow is it flowing? how much water there is, and that helps me predict how much water we may have in the future and the potential threats that are harming water quality and availability.
Springs here in the arid West are places where groundwater reaches the surface, and they serve as incredible theaters for life, for human society, for cultures over time, important as economic resources in the environment, and places where we encounter unique and rare species. I love discovering new things, and springs are places where you can discover new species. Pretty much any big spring you're going to go to, there are going to be surprises. On this river trip, we have the privilege of traveling with the National Park Service, floating through Grand Canyon, trying to identify where springs show up on the walls of the canyon. In the first 60 miles here, we've got more than 24 springs that are new to the park's list. Some features that we have seen for a while but not documented, other springs that we had no idea were here.
We haven't inventoried all the springs in the park, but right now we have about 600 springs and seeps. What's interesting, though, is out of the 12 types of springs that exist, we have 10 within the park. They're all beautiful in their own little way. A dripping spring will provide just as much biodiversity, or even more sometimes, as a huge cascading spring. We depend on one of these springs for our drinking water on the South Rim, the Inner Canyon, and the North Rim. And that's Roaring Springs, which is located on the North Rim. This is our 4th largest spring. We have a pipeline that starts there and goes across the canyon. So anytime a visitor is opening a tap or filling their water bottle at a filling station, it's coming from Roaring Springs.
I'm here in Grand Canyon to study what I call the lower world waters. That is, waters that have traveled deep into the earth and come back to the surface here in the depths of the canyon, bringing with them the record of their journeys in the form of chemicals and gases that they bring to the surface. Most people think of the canyon as this beautiful exposure of layered rocks, creating a landscape that's unparalleled. It's also a deeply incised aquifer system. And so by looking at the different springs in the canyon, we're able to understand different hydrologic pathways. The spring waters here that travel very deeply hold in their chemistry a record of past times. In fact, some of the mineral deposits from the springs also hold clues about these past times. So we're able to look at hydrology not just on the decadal scale or the century scale, but thousands and thousands of years of hydrology recorded in stone.
When I approach a spring as a scientist, my science side says powers of observation are really important, especially on the first approach. Tracks, scat, hair, feathers, remains of past visitors to the springs, the array of microhabitats around the springs. All of those are important to how that ecosystem functions. But I've also talked to a great many Native American elders about how to approach springs. Uniformly, they say, approach the spring with respect. You're coming into a different world, coming perhaps into the presence of beings that you may not have any awareness of, but pay respect. Give back to that landscape, give back to those beings, give back to that spring.
Understanding water availability and water quality is essential in understanding our most precious resource, water. When I see this fresh, pure water coming out of the rock, whether it be a little dripping spring or a gushet or waterfall, it reminds me that I too have water running through my veins, and that's what makes me alive. From the beginning of history, we always traveled or migrated to water. And I think the moment we learned how to bring water to us is when we forgot in a big way how special and essential and precious water is.
This is the heart of Grand Canyon.
It's like an onion, and the layers are coming off as you're hiking into the canyon. By the time you get to Phantom, I'm just joyful. Really get how special life is and sacred this canyon is.
Phantom Ranch is located at the bottom of Grand Canyon along the Colorado River. It's the trail junction where the three main corridor trails, we call them, meet: the South Kaibab, the Bright Angel, and the North Kaibab trails. Millions of people visit the rims every year, but only about 1% of our visitors stay overnight here at Phantom Ranch. Typically, people, when they come to the west, perhaps want to climb to the top of a mountain. Well, here at Grand Canyon, it's the reverse. They want to reach the bottom. In fact, I like to tell people when they ask about my career and my journey down here that I've made my way down the ladder to arrive at Phantom Ranch. And in a way, it's the same thing with our visitors. For them to come to the bottom is the experience that they're looking for. It is water, more than anything else, that has drawn people to this specific location for the last 1,000 or 1,200 years or so. The Fred Harvey Company and Mary Coulter designed the cabins, Phantom Ranch, in 1922. Coulter designed her cabins to blend in. She wanted this place to speak for itself.
I think that Phantom is her crown jewel at the Grand Canyon and maybe even in the Southwest. Mary Jane Coulter is such a big part of Phantom Ranch. You could say she's on the staff.
Coulter built these cabins and started to draw a new kind of audience into the bottom of Grand Canyon. The wealthiest of the tourists, authors, artists, oil and steel magnates, people that could afford a trip to travel by train from the East Coast, then to ride the mules to the bottom of Grand Canyon, stay multiple weeks on end down here. And in the 1930s, President Franklin Roosevelt formed what was called the Civilian Conservation Corps. Camp 818 worked here at Phantom Ranch, improving trails and campgrounds and providing an experience for hikers that we still have today. Hikers, backpackers, mule riders experience this place not a whole lot different than some of our earliest tour operators did. To arrive at Phantom Ranch, there are really only 3 ways down here. On their own 2 feet, ride one of the rafts. People can ride a mule down, so ride on somebody else's feet instead. And the mule ride is no easier than the hike. Mule riders, when they arrive here, are just as tired and sore as the hikers are.
Hi folks, welcome to Phantom Ranch. Mules have always been a tradition at Phantom, and we could not exist without them. Almost everything that comes in and out of Phantom comes in by mule, goes out by mule. Our postcards are stamped with a unique mailed by mule from the bottom of the Grand Canyon at Phantom Ranch sticker. It's never gotten old. The art of postcard writing is alive and well down here.
Many people are drawn to Phantom Ranch because of the comforts that are down here. This is a great place for an introductory backpacking experience. This isn't as rustic as it once was, but for many people today, it is the first time they've ever had a backpacking or backcountry experience. So often here at Grand Canyon, hikers have the tendency to overestimate their abilities and underestimate Grand Canyon. We cannot stress enough the idea of hiking smart in the summer. Hike smart means start early on your hike or start late. Avoid the heat of the day. Take advantage of water when you find it, and you'll have a much nicer hike.
It'll treat you the way you treat it. If you treat the canyon with respect, the canyon will respect you right back. If you disrespect it, it'll kick you right in the butt. The canyon doesn't like to be harmed. I mean, it's live. It's a breathing organism.
Every day at the ranch it's a new experience, it's a new adventure for the people that come and for us, the ranchers. We take care of the people that come here, and the people that come here are very special people.
Phantom Ranch is so special to me because of the people that come down here. The backpackers, the mule riders, the staff that works down here.
There's definitely a connection with people in the canyon. A lot of walls just immediately go down. At Phantom, it really doesn't get any better than this. And this is really, really good.
While we're having this experience at Phantom Ranch, we forget about what goes on everywhere else. We don't have cell phones to connect us or the internet. What we have to connect us, though, is the past. All those people that came before us, we're sort of, in a way, following in their footsteps and continuing their legacy, too. We want the next people that come down here to have an enjoyable experience, just like we're having right now.
Growing up, I moved around a lot, and I still move around a lot. I think that's something that's true of simply being human in the 21st century at this point. Now, after studying astronomy and being inspired by it, I could be at home wherever I am and watch the patterns in the sky rise for their seasonal dance over the celestial sphere. And that brings me this immense sense of home that I think is crucial for our well-being.
It wouldn't be the wilderness without the stars. Our very idea of place involves a starry sky overhead when you come to some place like Grand Canyon National Park. The sky is one of those things that has stimulated generations of scientists, generations of people to wonder about the world. Religion, philosophy, mysticism, astrology, science, all of those have their roots in wondering about the sky, in wondering about our place in this universe.
Grand Canyon is an amazing place to experience the night sky. We're some of the darkest skies in the country, primarily because we're situated high above a good portion of the atmosphere here on the Colorado Plateau. So we're at 7,000 feet here on the South Rim, which allows us to see the night sky without the distortion of atmosphere, molecules, aerosols, dust. If you look at a light pollution map of the United States, the East Coast is pretty much completely whitewashed with excess light and light pollution, whereas in the Southwest, there are still completely dark patches left. And so they've become somewhat of sanctuaries for the night, and Grand Canyon is certainly one of those sanctuaries.
In the city where I live, I can look up into the sky and I can count all the stars there. In fact, that's a question that almost every child has at some point. How many stars are there in the sky? Well, sadly, I know that in the city where I live, the answer is 12, and one of those is probably an airplane. As a result, there's very few incentives for me to ever look at the sky anymore. And 50% of the world's population now lives in cities. Under those types of skies, what reason does a child ever have to look up anymore? There's nothing there. There's nothing to be seen. And so we've lost something. We've lost something really fundamental, not just about our natural world, but how we see that world, how we see ourselves, how we approach the great questions of life.
We want to protect the night sky in the park because there are so many visitors here who would not have the experience of seeing the Milky Way anywhere else. We have some good lights here in the canyon and we have some bad lights here in the canyon. And our goal is to change those bad lights so that we are not contributing to light pollution inside the park. One of the most important things that visitors can do when they're looking at lighting in their own homes is, do they really need the light at all? That's one of the best energy efficient savings and night sky friendly things you can do, is determine if you need the light at all.
So Grand Canyon National Park was established in 1919, but there are still external threats to the integrity of the night sky here to this day. Already we can see the sky glow faintly of Las Vegas. We can see a little bit of sky glow from Tuba City, a little bit from Flagstaff and Williams. And there is, even to this day, proposed development right on the outside of Grand Canyon National Park's entrance that would undoubtedly have negative effects on the pristine nature of the night sky here at Grand Canyon. One of the best ways, in my opinion, to experience the night skies here is to come to our annual Star Party event that we have every summer. We've been doing it for decades at this point.
I want the people who are coming here to have the experience of seeing something they may never see again in their lives. We do this because we love it. We love working with the people. We love the exclamations of just, oh wow, when they see something in the telescope. I've had kids think that we painted Saturn on the inside of the telescope because they've never seen it look like that.
When I look up into a star-filled sky like that on display every night in Grand Canyon National Park, I feel a sense of beauty and joy, and actually a sense of belonging. When I see that Milky Way stretching from horizon to horizon, I know that I belong. I know that we, here on Earth, are part of something vastly larger than ourselves. We are part of a collection of 100 billion stars. And of those 100 billion stars, we alone, as far as we know, have the ability to understand the beauty around us. We are made of the same thing that the stars are. We are made of atoms that were born in the hearts of stars. We are stars made sentient. And that's what we can see when we go out and we look at a dark sky above Grand Canyon. We can see that beauty of which we are an integral part.
It is a monument to a time. It's a monument to a people. It's a monument to a place. And it also captures so much history that is within the walls of the building. The architecture itself, the artwork that's in there, tell the history and the story of place and people and time. And it's those things that make this place so special for me, and it makes it special for our visitors today.
My first impression of Desert View when I first moved here was that it was a beautiful, grand landscape. And since I have spent some time here and lived here for over 4 years, it's really shown me how beautiful and special this place is and more than just views. The Watchtower and the history behind it, as well as Mary Coulter's history, is just really rich.
When Mary Coulter decided to build the Watchtower here at Desert View, she was challenged by trying to come up with what is the right form, what is the right thing to have here that was really meaningful, that meant something to the land, that had this great view. It is the view that you can't build upon. What she did here was she allowed visitors to go a little higher so they could see everything unobstructed.
The ancestral Puebloans thrived at the Grand Canyon over 800 years ago, as well as around the Southwest, and built homes and stone towers in places that we know now as Mesa Verde National Park and Canyon de Chelly National Monument.
And to be honest, as an archaeologist, I can say that a lot of people are still wondering exactly what these things are. They were built prehistorically somewhere 1200, 1300 AD. Their function is debated amongst archaeologists even today. And that's one of the reasons why Coulter wanted to create this watchtower here at the rim of Grand Canyon, because it is a form, it's a function, it's a proportion that is very evocative of what the prehistoric peoples were building and how they were using these lands 1,000 years ago.
Mary Coulter was an interior designer and architect working for the Fred Harvey Company in the early 1900s. Her history goes back to being an artist and an art teacher, and she designed many structures along the Santa Fe Railroad, including many structures here at Grand Canyon, both on the South Rim and down at Phantom Ranch. She was definitely ahead of her time in the early 1900s working in a man's field. She was very independent, very strong-willed, and it was very rare to see a woman as an architect, because at that period of time, women weren't allowed to be licensed architects. So she always had to have a man working for the Santa Fe Railroad sign off on her drawings.
She took film footage of some of the construction activities. I mean, we look at it today, and it's astounding that they were able to move those rocks, these huge boulders, into place. If there was something she didn't like, she had it taken out and replaced with the one she did. Often these towers are built over many, many years, many generations, and what you see is very purposeful mixing of stone types, mixing of mortar types, mixing of different, types of architectural styles, from the small windows to the larger ones that are for viewing, to the lintel stones, to the small little sandstone pieces to kind of fill in like chinking stones, as if it had fallen apart and they just needed to fill it back in again. Each and every piece chosen specifically to fit, just so it evoked that feeling that it's very organic, that it's unplanned in a very planned way.
When you look out the windows of the kiva, when you look out the windows of the tower, you were looking upon this vast landscape that really represents the Aboriginal homes of many, many people, the Hopi people, the Navajo people, the Paiute people, all of them. The Grand Canyon itself is a place of emergence for many of the tribal people. Each and every one of the tribes sees the Grand Canyon and this greater region as part of their homeland, their cultural landscape, and that's why they call the canyon home.
Mary Coulter, of course, was inspired by the Hopi people and their architecture, their villages. And she, in fact, hired Hopi men to work on the watchtower construction. Some of the paintings around the wall there, I can relate to. I can actually see some interpretation from it. Here you see the 4 white lines, and what that means is welcoming everyone from the 4 directions, including the spiritual people, to a home. So it really is what you would call a welcome sign, and so that's a reflective of what the artist Kabodi wanted to do, was to welcome everybody here.
So the murals in this room are really fabulous. I mean, Fred Kabodi, as he was designing these, working with Mary Coulter, they really did put together a package of murals that really tells Hopi history and is so rich in iconography and the imagery that he was portraying. If you look closely, though, you'll see that time has taken its toll. There's been damage from water, from cracking in the cement, and that just the buildup of dirt over the years. Conservation of these nationally significant buildings is critical for our future generations to understand what the parks are about, what historic preservation is about. On January 1st, 2015, the National Park Service took over management of the Desert View Watchtower. With that change, we hope that Mary Coulter's original vision for the tower can once again be realized.
Well, over time, of course, the first floor of the watchtower became full of the usual merchandise of T-shirts and cups and memorabilia. It didn't allow for what I sense today. When I walk through these doors today, I see this vastness open up and greet me as a Hopi person. And it reminds Hopi of the magnificence of our Aboriginal lands that we still pay homage to in different ways.
Mary Elizabeth Jane Coulter was a master architect. And this building is probably one of the greatest of her works. This one hopefully will stand the test of time and the ages, because what it's here for and what it's here to teach us.
We absolutely cannot survive in this world without water. And guaranteed water to the South Rim is in peril as long as we have the existing pipeline and infrastructure in place. And if we don't have that, then everybody goes home.
People live and migrate to places where water is available. The interesting thing is, if you look at the archaeological record and where people of the past lived and preferred to be, and where people of the present live and prefer to be, they're the same places because they provide the exact same conditions: water, shade, and resources. The genesis of the Trans-Canyon Pipeline was as a means to provide secure water at a volume that would meet the needs of the visitors coming to the Grand Canyon and the development that was occurring in Grand Canyon after World War II. Water in the Trans-Canyon Pipeline begins at Roaring Springs and flows downhill, losing 2,740 feet in elevation to Phantom Ranch, and then it lifts 1,300 feet in elevation up to Indian Gardens, and then rises another 3,000 feet by positive pressure pumps up to the South Rim. But the build of the pipeline was a logistic challenge like the Park Service had never undertaken, especially for that time. The contract for the Trans-Canyon Pipeline was awarded in 1964 to Halverson Incorporated, and Ellick Halverson had a penchant for choosing logistically very difficult projects. Everything had to be brought in by helicopter. There were no roads. It's got 700 horizontal curves and 1,200 vertical curves along the pipeline. All those things together made it an engineering marvel. So the Trans-Canyon Pipeline was intended to last for 30 years. It's now coming on to 50 years, so it's serviced us for 20 years longer than anticipated. And so now as it ages, with the grit that runs through the system, it's more and more susceptible to breaking and is breaking more frequently.
This is a sprayer. It's not a full-blown break. It's hard to tell right now, but I would guess that it's an old weld that's just, 40 years old, and it finally, with the high pressures, is eaten through it. And it's probably a little tiny pinhole or a crack, but under the pressure, it's putting out a lot of water. We're going to get our sling loads in, and a welder, and our tools, and we will excavate it. When this pipeline breaks, it's go time. It's time to we've got to get down here as soon as we can. We're under a lot of pressure to get the water back on, because Phantom has about a 2 or 3 day supply, and after that they start talking evacuations, and it's not what we want to do. This pipeline's so fragile, everything with this pipeline is slow. You go fast with any step, you're going to blow it somewhere else. So from step 1 to step 20, it's slow and meticulous, just to prevent another break. Like all the other valves around here, this valve's probably 30, 40 years old, and it's just exceeded its life at this point. Everybody drinks water, so it's not just 1 or 2 or a certain percentage of the population that are relying on me and my work. It's everybody.
My very first week I was here, I went on a nice long hike. I sat at the Arizona room and I drank almost 3 pitchers of water. And the next day I saw the chief of facility. He says, "Where does all our water come from?" And he goes, "Oh God, I'm so glad you asked." He goes, "It's this pipeline and it's really, worn out and we're having all kinds of trouble with it." And I said, "Well, what are we doing about it? What are we doing in this system? Have we asked for help?" And he goes, "Well, it's just been so overwhelming of the idea and that we could never get that much money. We really haven't come up with a long-term strategy. We're just fixing it as we go." The money that it would take to repair this pipeline, about $150 million was that original estimate, is more than all parks get over a 3-year period. What would happen if we had a catastrophic failure? The immediate impact would be an economic ripple through the whole Southwest. Northern Arizona would be in shock. The economic engine of the park itself, easily $500 million a year, several thousand jobs here at the canyon in gateway communities in and around the park. But what would be lost is visitation. We'd have to literally send everybody home. Right now, underway, we have a construction project down at Phantom Ranch to replace 2,800 feet of the 15 miles. That 2,800 feet is going to cost us about $3.5 million. It's going to take several months, and it's a good precursor to what the challenge we have to replace the whole pipeline. When you have a gorilla this big in your office, you cannot just ignore it. It's there every single day, and we need to come up with a long-term strategy for repair of the Trans-Canyon Pipeline, and we also have to come up with public support and congressional support to fund the replacement of that pipeline, and also for the park to redirect its resources, as limited as they are, to make sure the #1 critical infrastructure piece in the whole National Park Service, and that's my opinion, it is the Grand Canyon's Trans-Canyon Pipeline, and it must be repaired.
This pipeline is the main artery for the Grand Canyon. Without water, you just wouldn't be able to have what we have here. We've got a real precious thing here, this water, and we need to take care of it.
We hear from visitors all the time about how they come to the North Rim over and over again. It's one of those touchstone places. And when you think about all of the reasons why we have national parks, the North Rim is the quintessential example of everything that makes parks special. You have incredible scenic beauty, you have naturally functioning ecosystems, you have wildlife, but more importantly, there's something about the North Rim that just invokes that sense of solitude and serenity. This is a place that invites you to slow down, to ponder, to feel your own innate creativity, and to just fall in love with landscape. It's It's a place that worms its way into your heart and never leaves. We have a lot of artists and photographers and writers and poets that make their way to the North Rim over and over again in search of that solitude and that inspiration and the beauty that this place provides. Even some of our former employees have went on to become very famous writers, people like Edward Abbey. Here on the North Rim, he was a fire lookout for 4 seasons, and he manned the fire tower, but more importantly, he wrote here and found a lot of inspiration in this landscape. You haven't fully experienced Grand Canyon until you come to the North Rim. The South Rim is beautiful. There's a lot of stuff that's going on there, but I don't think you have the full sense of the drama and the beauty and the scope of Grand Canyon until you make your way up to this high mountain plateau and see the rim from these forests. Grand Canyon is at her most majestic when you see her from the North Rim. Every season here has a character and a feel to it and a rhythm to it. It's that thing that brings you back over and over and over again, is those connections to not only the place, but the natural rhythms of this place. Perhaps the best thing to do at the North Rim is to watch the cycles of the sun as it rises in the morning and sets in the evening. And it has a profound effect on people and their experiences. Sunrises are quiet, they're almost reverent, hardly anybody is talking. And then you go down for sunset, and there's chatter and the clicking of cameras and the oohs and the ahs and the excitement that ensues from watching this spectacular natural show. And as the sun begins to go down towards the horizon, we get incredible alpenglow within the canyon, and the colors within the rocks take on an edge to them that is difficult to describe. There is nothing like a sunset on the North Rim. National parks were set aside to preserve incredible scenic landscapes for future generations. When you come to the North Rim, you get to step into that vision and experience it firsthand. And we get to have this opportunity because the people who were here before us took the time to be good stewards of this place, to care for it and preserve it for our experience. And now, as we look to the future, we have the opportunity to do the same, to care for this place, to preserve it as it is, so that someday our children and their children after them and their children after them can come here and have this same incredible experience in this remarkable place known as the North Rim.
My first trip to the Grand Canyon was in 2005, and I was actually moving to the Grand Canyon. I had never been here before. I had never been west. And growing up in Georgia, I wasn't really sure what to expect. But when I got here, actually to this exact spot, the vastness of the canyon was overwhelming to me. The wide open space, the ability to see for miles and miles, a condor flying over, this giant bird. I'd never seen anything quite like it in my life. It started hailing. I didn't know anything about the climate or the environment. I just knew I was moving to the desert. I was searching for something. I wanted to hike and experience the outdoors, and I was hoping to find that here. I didn't quite realize it in that moment, but that was the first day of the rest of my life. One of the most special things for me personally, living and working at Grand Canyon for the National Park Service, is contributing to the life-changing experiences of over 5 million people a year, and being part of such a small community is doing that. I cherish that responsibility, as well as the rest of my National Park Service family.
For me, on a day-to-day basis, you know, it's sometimes easy to forget that we've been around for over 100 years. 100 years for the Park Service, but you know, over 100 years for a lot of other parks. But in the end, the thing that really keeps our mission going is knowing that we're a well-established organization that people value. I mean, there's a reason that we're all here. There's so many benefits to being a ranger. It doesn't get boring. Every day, there is something new.
It's handling the little fires that pop up in everyday operation, whether it's from EMS calls to search and rescue to wildland fires. That's what we handle, and we do that to ensure that the park and the visitors are safe and can come back and enjoy this place. We're not the reason the park is here, but we're here to ensure that it stays here and that it remains a park.
My name is Mary Hiltonen, and I've lived here in the park since 8th grade, so about 15, 16 years. I've been in and out of the pathways and student programs, working different jobs with the Park Service. I currently work as a custodial member on the South Rim, where I clean the restrooms and the visitor center and take out the trash and do litter pickup. I take great pride in my job. It makes everyone to respect the park a little bit more and see how much we love our park.
It's very rewarding for me to have a connection with each one of the visitors here that are at my window. It's very important to know that I may be the only one that they see during their trip here into the park, and I need to make sure that they have a good experience here so that they are able to have a good experience throughout the park.
Well, my name is Bruce Kilbride.
And I'm Lynn Crosby. We're married and we're volunteers here in the park. We've volunteered for Grand Canyon National Park for 4 summers. This is our 4th summer. Sometimes here at the nursery you're kind of hidden away, but it is good to volunteer kind of out in the more public areas of the parks, because then little kids can see, my gosh, you know, somebody's doing something, you know, without getting paid. They're volunteering. You know, maybe they should think about volunteering. So it's good to set an example.
Well, I think it's important to engage our youth, because if we don't have a base of youth, of incoming people for the Park Service to help preserve and protect these resources, we're not going to have stewards for the future. Our parks will not have strong employees, will not have the science resource management backgrounds or the public speaking skills to help preserve these places and preserve them for future generations, which is our mission.
Well, I'm extremely proud to be here at Grand Canyon during our centennial, to be standing here representing the Park Service. It's really amazing to connect people to these stories that we have here. We have 100 years of celebrating this National Park Service, protecting these resources, and to allow people to connect to them allows them to care about them and want to continue to protect them for our next 100 years.
Being a part of the National Park Service legacy and a centennial year means so much to me because of the positive impact and the influence that not just Grand Canyon, but the Park Service has had on me personally. I feel a duty, kind of an obligation to pay it forward, to share my story, to share my experience, because I feel like that's the way to get folks connected, to get them into the park, to actually come here and feel it, to go below the rim, to go on the trails, to be here at nighttime and experience the night sky. You can see the Milky Way. It's an incredible feeling, and I want to do my part to pay it forward.